what time it is. It's Postie bike time.
Morning folks, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you're enjoying Paul's Postie bike, and thanks for everyone that's been following along. First thing to talk about this morning is I made a monumental stuff up with today's video. So I been having some GoPro issues I've been talking about on camera. Well, the start of this episode they seem to have gone missing, so I'm not sure whether I didn't record it or run out of battery or it's gone AWOL. But anyway, I don't have the start of the video. So if you remember the last video, it was raining and I was finishing off the wiring. So the next day I come out, it was sunny, and I started the bike up and tested that regulator, and you will see what happens when we pick up the video again. So stay tuned, there's a lot of exciting stuff coming. Right folks, I think I might have made stuff up number 2. This is fast becoming the stuff up episode, but it was bound to happen eventually. So I hooked up that regulator to the Postie bike and nothing happened. No voltage coming out of the regulator. Double checked that all my wiring was right. I googled and searched on the internet and checked the Postie bike wiring, and pretty sure that what we said originally was right. So the yellow and white wire are for the stator, and the red wire is the charge wire, or in our case it's going to be the headlight wire. But couldn't get any voltage out of it. Checked the voltage coming out of my lighting stator, and it was 9 volts, about 6.5 or 7 at idle, and revving up it was going up to about 9. The other day when I measured it, it was going up to about 14-15 on full revs. So when I ordered this regulator, I actually ordered a 12 volt one with a 6 volt output, so 12 volt AC input and 6 volt output, thinking that that would the 13-14 volts that it was putting out under full load would be this regulator would survive a bit better at that sort of voltage. Turns out after couldn't get it to work on the bike, I actually modified this battery charger here, and disclaimer, if you're not an electrician, it's against the law in Australia to play with anything that connects to the mains. I would not recommend anyone playing with anything with 240 volt going into it. I'm actually an electrician by trade, so I've rewired this battery charger to give me 12.5 volts to test my regulator. So let's just turn this battery charger back on. And we will set our meter to 6 volts. Ground is the body of the regulator, and positive charge wire gives me 4.5 volts. Get a bit better ground on it. It's not outputting anything. It gives me about 5 volts, so I can get 5 volts coming out of the regulator with 12.5 going in. So I'm thinking I've bought the wrong regulator. Stuff up number 2. Stuff up number 2. I'll buy a 6 volt one, see if I can get it to work. So that puts an end to our voltage regulator wiring for this episode. I'll jump back on the internet and order up a 6 volt one with a 6 volt input. So AC input, just for those that are wondering why this won't work, if I said I've got 12.5 or 13 volts going out of my stator at full load, AC volts you probably want about 1.3 times as much. So 15 volts would power a 12 volt regulator, give you 12 good constant 12 volts DC. So to get 6 volts out, I thought 9 would power this regulator, but the internal workings of this regulator is looking for 15 volts, so it won't even turn on. So I'm thinking maybe a 6-volt one will work okay for my application. These things happen when you're trying to modify stuff that's not supposed to, you know, it's not for its intended purpose. That headlight wiring was never supposed to have a regulator on it. This regulator was never supposed to work as a headlight regulator, but I'm trying to make it happen. We'll get the correct regulator and we'll come back. Alright folks, we've just had the Postie out the front. He just brought me a couple of parcels, so let's get these opened up and see what we've got. This is the LED headlight that I ordered. I'm pretty sure that should work on 6 to I think 16 volts. I'll double check. That might actually get us out of trouble without having to run that regulator. But I'll do some research and we'll have a look at what we've got. Tell you what I've got the bluntest knife in existence here in the shed. I might have to go get my pocket knife from up at the where I'm working on the Postie. I've sharpened it up. I know it cuts. 6-volt smart battery charger. I'm going to put this underneath the battery box in the Postie, and then when it's not being driven I should be able to just clip it in, plug it in, plug this in and charge her up. So it says it does 6 volts and 12 volts. I'm guessing it must be auto detect the voltage. Doesn't tell me on the instructions, it just says to read the instructions. Anyway, we'll put that aside. We'll go and do some research on this headlight and see what I can find out. Hopefully I can just plug this straight into the 9 volts I've got coming out of the stator. Righto folks, back here with this regulator, and I've had a bit more of a play with it and a bit more of a think about what's going on. So I hooked up that LED headlight, measured the voltage, and it's going up well over 20 volts. So that's no load. Basically an LED light or LED lamp doesn't provide any resistance at all to the voltage, so it'll just climb up to its maximum. So it goes 18, 19 volts. I got a bit scared and turned the bike off at that. So I didn't want to blow that headlight bulb, $50 headlight bulb, LED one. So I had a bit more of a play, hooked this back up to the bike, and if I have the yellow wire and the ground connected, it will not rise above 10 volts, 9.8. It just sits at between 9 and 10 volts the whole time. As soon as I disconnect this, I can then rev it up and it'll go back up to its no load voltage where it was before, 16, 17, 18 volts. Still don't get any voltage coming out on the red wire, so not sure why, but it is providing enough of a load to keep that headlight voltage down to 9ish volts with it connected up. So I'm just going to connect it up, leave it in there as a load, and hopefully that LED light, I'll go and show you it in a second and how I have it hooked up. Hopefully it will survive without being burnt out by excess voltage.
Right guys, so this is the headlight lamp that I end up using. It's an LED one, and it does work on AC voltage, and I just tried to get one as close as I could to the original 6-volt lamp that fits the holder. So this is how the original lamp looks. It's got 2 pins for the voltage and 3 legs that stick out that actually go into 3 legs in this holder here, and then you turn it. So obviously this one's a little bit different. I couldn't get the 3-leg type, so this one has 2 pins and only 1 leg sticking out, which luckily enough, if we see them both side by side, actually corresponds with the same orientation. Like so. And then if you want to remove the lamp, you just turn it and it comes out again. Sorry, I'm not very good at working one-handed while I'm filming. Back on the iPhone obviously, so yes, stand by, new camera coming.
Trick with making a soldering iron work is to get it clean, get all the excess off, and then get the flux out of the solder to do its job. The flux is like a cleaner, so if it's not clean, the solder won't melt properly. And same when you do your wire. I get a bit of solder on the end. Then try to get the flux into the wires that you're trying to join, and then the solder will just flow in when it gets hot enough. There you go, that solder's coating all the way around those wires now, and then it'll be all the way through the wires inside as well, with a nice solid joint. I'm going to put some green heat shrink over this because it's an earth, and it's going to join up to a green wire in the motorbike headlight. I'm going to put the bullet connector back on the end of the yellow that I cut off earlier, and the red is now just going to be a spare. We're just going to use this as a load to keep our headlight voltage down. So it is actually raining here again. So that's going to be the end of this episode. I did spend most of the day connecting up that regulator and cutting it out, and connecting it up and cutting it out. So there isn't a whole of a lot of interesting footage come out of all that, but today I have managed to get the LED headlight installed, and I've got that regulator back installed. And so moving on, we're going to finish off the wiring and get the Postie bike fired back up and hopefully test it all out. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for upcoming episodes. Don't forget to like and subscribe.